Hey guys, so today's video is all about samples. I've been slow cooking this video idea for quite some time. I have this tendency to come up with all these video ideas and kind of start them, like start putting stuff into boxes, set it over here, and then not finish the videos. But I finally reached a point with this one where I realized it's time to talk about this. I'm such an Aries. But the original idea for this video was none other than the makeup eraser sample and the entire drama built around that. Oh, we'll talk about all that. It's so fun. But anyway, the idea behind this video is I'm going to talk to you guys about samples that do not match the full size. Now, if you don't know how samples come to be, I have such a good example for this. This video is not sponsored by Big Lots. Okay, so a company comes out with a product, we'll say in this example a powder. They make it in a giant vat, and then it comes out of the giant vat into the smaller containers that are your full-sized products. And then from that vat, they also take a certain amount and make sample sizes. Those sample sizes are all factored into the cost. We end up paying for them when we buy full sizes, but it kind of works out because then we get to trial other sizes first. However, those sample sizes are never supposed to actually be sold. Instead, they're given to retailers like Sephora, Ulta, Macy's, and with those samples, the retailers cannot sell them. That's why they're often marked on the back, not for sale, but they can come up with an incentive to give them to us, like Sephora's pick one with a $25 purchase, or Ulta's pick 17 or get 17 with a $50 purchase, that kind of thing. But again, the whole idea behind that is you get to sample a product before you commit to paying for the full size. Like, it sounds great in theory, everybody wins. Stores have people spending a little extra to get some extra perk, and then brands have people eventually like a product enough to buy it. However, this video is about the exceptions to the rule, the situations where you trial a product and it's either awful, even though the full size is great, or occasionally the inverse. So the reason I wanted to talk about the makeup eraser fiasco is because it's such a good example of terrible marketing. Makeup Eraser, the company that sells this little cloth for, I believe, around $20. Now, this really is nice, but it also is quite expensive for what it is. That's my opinion on this one. However, Makeup Eraser was having a difficult time getting people to try it, so they came up with this campaign of, we'll ship you a sample. Now, you know, the thing is, this is a pretty poor representation of this. This is definitely something where you can, you know, move it all over your face, just keep rolling it, you wash it. It's not a bad product. This is basically, they took scissors to their microfiber, cut them into these not even even shapes, and then just shipped them to us. So I guess Makeup Eraser got a little self-conscious after the fact and felt the need to send an email to all of us who got the free sample and said the sample sucks. And they also attached a video of people cutting this up and just kind of throwing them on the floor, all kinds of madness. It was really messy looking. This should never be a conversation that we have, because the sample size should be good enough to make you interested enough in the product to buy it. So it ended up being this situation of a lot of secondhand embarrassment, and I felt for a long time that this is such a good example of why companies should put more effort into their sample sizes. If you really want us to buy it, you can't send us something that seems like trash. This video doesn't end with Makeup Eraser though. We've got to talk about, I cannot believe that one of my favorite mascaras in the world gets featured in this video. By now, you guys have probably heard me rave a lot about Milk Makeup's Kush mascara. It is a fantastic mascara. However, when I bought this, Milk actually sent me a mini size, and I just kind of put it aside to use the full size first. It did finally run out, and so I went to using the mini. The problem is the mini is not at all like using the full size, and I'll show you why. So this is a mascara that contains fibers, which means that they can kind of get a little clogged on this part of this mascara, which you can easily wipe off. You know, this fits in fairly nicely. It's not really any kind of problem situation. However, let's take a look at the mini size, shall we? Do you see how clumpy this is? And this is something that, again, I didn't even finish using. Watch this. It doesn't come out. Do you see how much it's catching? I hope you can see this. I don't know. it catches, it catches, it catches, so that when you go to put it back in, the opposite happens, and it collects all over the sides of the tube. This becomes one of the messiest mascaras I've ever used. Look at that, just look at it all over the, oh my gosh. It actually looks disgusting. There's just fibers everywhere. But of course there are, because it doesn't fit in the tubing. I was genuinely trying to figure out how something could go this horribly wrong, and I think that there just wasn't enough attention put into the manufacture of the mini. I think they just got excited about how great the full size is and just kind of made a mini without thinking about calculating the size of the mascara wand and the tube. I don't know, but it's actually awful. And this, again, is one of my favorite mascaras. Ulta is Ulta is my favorite store to buy beauty products at. They're my favorite. I love them. Their customer service is incredible. The specials are incredible. The point system is incredible, but their gifts with purchase of their own brand, their house brand products, suck. I was really thinking about this recently. You know how around Black Friday, a lot of electronics manufacturers will source out cheaper parts for their TVs and other electronics so that when it comes to Black Friday, they just sell those at their Black Friday deal price and they don't lose any money whatsoever because the parts are cheaper. I'll link an article on this if you've never heard about that. It's a documented thing. And I feel like Ulta does the exact same thing because for 2 Black Fridays in a row, they have sent out Ulta brand gifts with purchase and they suck miserably. Let me give you this example first. I could just give you every product in that entire bag as an example, but here's one. So this is supposed to be their blush brush, and you can see it's real flimsy and real tiny. Okay, fine that it's tiny, but it should at least have a little bit of sturdiness to it. This, however, is the full-size blush brush. They're not even close to being the same fabric. Like, this is all crinkly, feels really thin. This is firm. It's got density to it. Even the brushes are weighted differently, although they kind of tried to mimic the appearance. But in terms of actually using them, Ulta's brand brushes are some of my favorites. But they keep sending out these trash brushes and people have no idea how good these are. This might actually be the best example in this entire video, so let me show you the Ulta lipsticks. I bought a bunch of these on the recommendation of, I believe, somebody on the Sephora boards. I'm always on the Sephora boards. These are lovely. So this is the shade Stay Fierce. Again, I did buy this. It's just a really richly pigmented, beautifully wearing lipstick. I'm so glad this was recommended to me, and it has such a luxurious feel to it too. The packaging is heavy. It's got this nice engraving that says Ulta Beauty. It's just a very lovely product. Now, coincidentally, I ended up getting a free sample of an Ulta lipstick in the shade Stay Fierce. So there's that one swipe of Stay Fierce, and here we have Stay Fierce. Why you do that, Ulta? And on the lips, this is so sheer, whereas this is really richly pigmented. I did a side by side with these two on, and I was like, why is this such a joke? And you know, it's one thing to look at them side by side and say, okay, well, this is cheaper packaging, but for it to be a completely different formula and color, I don't get it. All it does is make people think that the Ulta brand is a terrible brand, a dollar store quality brand. So, you know, this madness just needs to stop. It doesn't make sense to me. Comment below if you agree with Ulta needing to represent their own in-house products better. Maybe we can make this into a petition. All right, let's switch modes a little and talk about some products where the sample is different but maybe better. Tarte's Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush. I've heard so much about the sample being different with this particular product, and that's because it is. It's written right on the back of the packaging that the full size is made in the USA and the sample is made in China. And I'll go ahead and put up the 2 different ingredients that each of these has. I don't understand how you can call it the same product if they clearly have a different ingredients list. But Tarte tries it, and the end result is that the sample size of the blushes is it's a very pigmented formula. It's something where you definitely pick up a lot of product onto your brush. Whereas the full size is actually pretty tightly packed into there. You don't pick up as much, but depending on how you feel about it, it may be better for you to have a less pigmented blush. But like, clearly that's a massive difference. Now these are two different shades, just to be fair, but they still apply so differently. Oh, I remember why this was such a thing, because Tarte was giving away the party blush as the Sephora gift, the birthday gift, I believe, 2 years ago? And so many people got the party blush mini and went out and bought the full size because they loved it, because it is a nice formula, but I think both of them are nice formulas, they just need different brushes. And so many people were disappointed in the full size product because it was completely different from this sample size. My last example, I completely owe to you guys. Thank you for letting me know about this, and this one I just want to fall off my chair. Please don't fall off your chair, but you know what I mean. Do you guys remember how I put this as basically my worst product for 2018 during our listing phase? I don't like this mascara. I tried so hard to like it. I really believed that I would. The flexible wand, I already talked about all of this. It's a very clumpy, awful to use mascara, in my opinion. However, I got a set from Benefit, and it came with a mini of this. Now, I believe I said I was going to throw it in the trash, but several of you guys commented to try it because it was better than the full size. Y'all were right. This is actually kind of great. It's kind of great. This is what I'm wearing today. I didn't have to brush out my lashes. Well, what is going on, Benefit? So I've been trying to figure this one out, why it seems to be a little bit drier of a formula, why it's easier to work with. And I think that when it comes to mascara, a lot of it is that, you know, you're not just putting product into a smaller container, you actually have to make the entire product into a small version. So you have a lot more control over this wand. Even though it's still got the flexibility, it doesn't go as haywire as it does when you're working with it on a very long wand. I mean, that's a big difference, you know? It's funny though, because it is the exact same wand, it's just that this is on a way, way shorter handle. I guess that's a handle. But then as for why it's drier, I don't know if that's because they were all made at the same time and it's just dried out naturally, but I still have problems with that. I don't know. All I know is that this is a very confusing situation because why is the sample so much better? You know, this has been given out as a gift with purchase, so for me it came in a set. How are you supposed to properly convey to customers, yeah, this is great, but don't buy the full size? I'm just so baffled. It just doesn't make sense at all. And it's so funny that one of my favorite and my least favorite mascaras are in this video with my opinion being swapped about the minis. I just like, we clearly have a problem that we need to address here, makeup industry. All right guys, that's all I've got for this video, but please do leave a comment below if you have ever encountered this happening to you, if you've ever had a sample that is very different from the full size. Let's kind of get a list going here so we know what to watch out for. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.